Welcome to the Heart of Real Estate podcast with Mike McFarland and Steven Salinas with the Mortgage Mike Group. On the podcast, Mike and Steven discuss with top producing real estate agents what makes them successful, unique, and purpose-filled. Each episode holds a key to unlocking a door to financial freedom.
Hey guys, welcome to the Heart of Real Estate podcast. My name is Steven. I got my co-host, Mike McFarland.
Yep, Mike McFarland here.
And we have a special guest with us today. We got Mike Maret. Mike, thanks so much for coming.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here. Excited to be here on the podcast with you.
Yeah, where are you at today? Are you local? Where are you at?
I'm in Dalton, Georgia. Long way away from Texas, but so glad to be on the call with y'all. And we're here in sunny Dalton, Georgia. We're located about an hour and a half north of Atlanta.
Love it.
About 30 minutes south of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we're kind of in between Chattanooga and Atlanta. It's the sweet spot of real estate. I'll say that.
I love it.
Gotta love it.
Did you have an accent? Like, did you grow up there? Did you develop an accent after moving there?
No, I'm originally, I was born and raised in Dalton, and so I've always had the Southern accent.
I love it.
And I was just out of town. I actually went to New York City a couple of weeks ago for a trip for spring break, and everybody knew exactly where we were from.
Really?
Right.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, being my family's from East Texas, so I'm a Houstonian. So I can go into my less than Texas accent, and then as soon as I'm in East Texas, it just flows out.
Right. That's right.
Like I'm home.
That's right.
It's so comfortable. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being a guest. This is our first, Steven and I. This is our first actually remote podcast, which is really cool.
Yeah,
we're so honored that you are our first guest for this.
Excited about it.
Yes,
absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about is Coldwell Banker Kinard, right? Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Well, our company has a long history in the Northwest Georgia area. We were founded by Bob and Dixie Kinard in 1974. So we're in our 49th year. We're about to celebrate our 50th anniversary next year in 2024, and we're really excited about it. For a small business, small brokerage company to be around for 50 years is a big accomplishment, and it's a testament to our founders as well as all the agents that have worked with us over the years. But our main office is in Dalton, Georgia, and give you a little tidbit about info about Dalton, Georgia. We are the carpet capital of the world. The majority of the carpet and flooring is made in a 3-county area right around our city.
Goodness.
And we're the home of Shaw Industries, Engineered Floors, which are 2 huge floor manufacturers. Shaw Industries is actually owned by Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett.
Wow.
And so we have a big industrial base of business in our real estate. So we've got a big commercial base. But our main office is in Dalton. And then we have offices just north of here in Ringgold, Georgia, which is a little bedroom community of Chattanooga. And then we also have expanded into Cleveland, Tennessee, which is kind of northeast of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then we go south toward Atlanta to Calhoun, Georgia, as well as Cartersville, Georgia. And Cartersville, from our office in Cartersville, we're about 20 minutes from the Marietta area, and Marietta is where the Brave Stadium is, where Truist Park is. So we're kind of in between two major cities, and it's kind of like we like it that way. We're in kind of small communities, and we like the small town feel.
I love it. What is it about the small towns that you like about it? Versus kind of live it closer to the city.
I think that. We are constantly in contact and communication with our customers and clients. We run into them at church. We run into them at the grocery store. You really can't go anywhere in this town. And, I'm constantly talking about real estate, and it's great.
Love it.
There's really nowhere I can go in this town and not talk about real estate, which is great. And, we'll talk about, building personal relationships and things like that here in a little while. But, that small, I tell people that are moving here from, bigger cities and I love big cities. I had a great time in New York when I was there a couple of weeks ago. But I tell people that are moving from larger cities, from a commute standpoint, drive time, I could leave my house, drop my kids off at their elementary school, and be sitting in my office in 5 minutes. And, a lot of you don't get that in big cities.
Oh,
and so, when people move from larger cities, I always give them that story.
Wow.
That, it's convenience, no traffic. But once again, though, like I said, North Georgia is the hub of the flooring industry. And so there's big business here, and there's a lot of, commercial activity, which benefits both the job market, which is one thing that drives real estate.
Absolutely.
Jobs are important. And y'all know that from the lending environment.
Oh, too well do we know that. So.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you mentioned, so you mentioned community, being in like smaller communities, right? I'm sure they're not small, but relative to Atlanta, Georgia,
Sure,
those would be smaller markets, right? How do you see guys, you guys just kind of fitting into that community? And then what do you do for your agents in regards to just helping, because you've got several offices, right? And how do you build community inside of that space for you guys?
Well, the Kinards that founded the company were big supporters of all community activities, from the local ball teams to the Chamber of Commerce to anything in between. One example of how we give back to our community and really get involved is in our Cleveland office, Cleveland, Tennessee. Our office up there, they do on 4th of July weekend, they do like 35. They give out little 3,500 flags, little American flags, and they put them all around the city of Cleveland. And so when you drive through the city of Cleveland, there's these little American flags lining all the streets, and the community absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
They all want a flag in their yard, and we get so many great comments. And they've done that. They were another Coldwell Banker company, and they merged in with us probably about 5 years ago, and they've had that tradition for years. And it's just a great way to get involved in the community, and all of our agents participate. And it just, it's a community and business partnership, and it's great. Our agents love it, and the community loves it too. We get so many good comments about that.
Yeah. It's, you're plugged in, right? You are a part, you're a fabric of the community that you got, the offices that you're in, right? You just you are the community, right?
Our agents are so, it's hard to really pinpoint exactly what all of our agents are doing, whether it's a church activity, a church fundraiser. We read this, just recently we went to, an elementary schools and read Dr. Seuss books. And if you try reading a Dr. Seuss book to a bunch of second graders, the pressure's on, because Dr. Seuss has those tongue twisters and things like that in there. It's hard to read Dr. Seuss. So our agents really had to study up on the principal. Actually, when I was talking to the principal about it, who was actually my wife, she said that I needed to practice before I came to read Dr. Seuss. But stuff like that gets us out in the community.
Those kids will sniff it out.
They were correcting me how to pronounce the
considering their parents are reading
Seuss.
it too. The only time you're in practice is when you have your own kids or grandkids. They're like, oh no. My mom used to read a Dr. Seuss book to me. It was the birthday book. And I love that book. It's actually my birthday in 2 days. I can't wait for my family to read it to me.
Read it to you.
So it's she would skip pages, and I'd be like, No. You missed some of that. Go back.
That's right.
So that's great.
But we encourage our agents to be involved in the community, and we've got another event coming up here in Dalton. It's called the Healthcare Classic. It's a 5K race, a 1K and a 5K race. So we'll be there that morning. We're a sponsor, and we'll be there passing out energy bars and bottled water and things like that. It's sponsored by our local hospital. So, we're constantly doing things like that. And it's important, in each small town, we do a little bit different things, like the flags in Cleveland. We do other things in Dalton and Ringgold. So it's a lot of fun. It gets us out and about.
That's great.
People.
That's so good. Tell us a little bit about how you, because you weren't originally an owner, right? You kind of just stepped into this place and was an agent, right? And then at some point, you're like, hey, I think we can do more. Tell us about that.
Like I said, we were founded in 1974. I was originally licensed in 95. I went to the University of Georgia, go Dogs.
Yeah.
And I do have a BBA in real estate. So I got licensed while I was in Athens going to school. I immediately came back home to go to work for Bob and Dixie Kinard in 96.
Wow.
And, I was a sales agent for a few years, and then I kind of gradually moved into the management area and managed our offices up in the, Ringgold area for a few years, and then came back to Dalton and did some I was a sales manager for about 5 years.
Gosh.
And then the Kinards were, we were in the midst of negotiating a new franchise agreement, and it just timing was right for myself and my partners to purchase the company in 07.
Great.
And my two partners are both longtime agents as well. And so it was just a natural fit for us to, take over and purchase the company from the Kinards in 07. And, those of y'all that have been in the business for quite a while, 04, 05, 06 was a great run of real estate. There was a lot of new construction going on. Prices were rising. And then in about mid 07, the subprime debacle happened, and we went into the Great Recession.
Oh, yeah.
And so, we joke with Bob and Dixie all the time that they were the only ones that timed the real estate market correctly,
right?
Because they sold out right at the peak,
right?
Right at the beginning of 07, and from 07 to 2010, we lost half our volume, and it was a tough time in real estate. So, but we learned a lot then. So that's kind of where we started from, and then we've built up over the years, and I think in the long run, looking back on it, it was a very difficult time for everybody.
For sure.
It was tough for the real estate market, tough on people because of job loss. But from a personal perspective, our company became stronger because we learned to, manage our expenses and still provide the services that our agents need to provide good value to our customers and clients.
Mike, it's just, I just thought about this because, one, right? You bought the company when it was its most valuable, right?
Yeah.
So good. Their exit strategy was really good.
It was, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if they had a crystal ball or what. They were speaking to somebody. I don't know.
Right.
We joke about it now, but it wasn't very funny. And I always remember, and once again, I'm dating myself, but in 2009, the presidential election was happening when Obama was against McCain, and that September, October, the stock market crashed. It went down, significantly. And I remember meeting with Bill and John, who are my partners, and we were like just shaking our heads, like, what have we done buying this real estate company? 2 years in, new presidential election happening, and the stock market's crashed, and nobody could get a loan.
Right. Interesting because when we look at the market today, right? I don't know. Yeah. We've got businesses down clearly, right? Interest rates probably lopped off 50% of the market. It feels like, at least. How do you take that experience? Do you see similarities between then and now, right? And
well, one thing we did talk, it's when you're in an event, you take action, and you don't, you're kind of like even COVID. It's not like we were working forward, we were moving forward, we were trying to do business. You kind of reflect back and see what you really did as far as how you were doing it. And back in 08 and 09, I remember having meetings and talking about what was happening with the banking industry, what was happening corporately and all that kind of stuff, and it was really out of our control. And what I told our agents was we can only control what we're doing here, boots on the ground in Northwest Georgia. And whether good market, bad market, people are always going to be buying and selling real estate. It might fluctuate the volume a little bit, but people are always going to be buying and selling real estate because of lifestyle situations.
Absolutely.
Marriages, having kids, unfortunately divorces, and people passing away, upsize and downsizes, and downsize it. And that's kind of like what we did in COVID too. We talked about we can only control what we can control. Whether there's shutdowns, masking, all that kind of stuff, we can just control what we can control. And I guess that's kind of how we handle it today too. I think podcasts like this are good to listen to, not the network news.
Right.
You listen to the network news right now, everybody's going to be scared about even investing in real estate.
Right.
But, even with the interest rates, yes, they're double what they were this time last year. But in a historical sense, a 6.5 to 6 3/4 interest rate is still historically pretty good.
Yeah.
We have agents that were in the business in the early 80s when they were 12 and 15%. I think when I got in the business in 96, I think the rates were like 8.5 to 9%.
Mm-hmm.
People are still buying houses. So you can only control what you can control,
right?
And it's your own activities.
I love it. I love it when you stay plugged in to the community, right? Don't pull back. Meet them where they are, whatever that is, right? And that's lifestyle change. We're so fortunate in our business that we get to walk along with people in lifestyle change.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an honor, right, for us to be able to do that.
Well, another thing, like we touched on before, it's fun. Real estate is fun.
It should be.
When you help somebody either sell a house or buy a house, it's a major investment, and the majority of transactions, yes, 1 out of 100 might have a little issue here and there, but the majority of the time they run smoothly. It's an exciting time in their lives, and you're a part of it, and it's fun.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it's fun working with great loan originators.
Wow.
That makes it even more fun.
It sure does.
Awesome.
when you have a good relationship across
That's right.
the spectrum for the client, agent, lender, borrowers themselves or buyers, man, it makes things so much better.
Well, it's I talk to our agents all the time, and we even had a new agent orientation this morning, and we talk about the importance of having good lender partners that you can trust, that you can call to get the straight answers about their customers and clients. And it's so important to have those good partnerships.
Yeah. Stephen and I talk about, we got to call when the phone rings. You better be happy that my name's on that on the caller ID, right? And vice versa. We got to be excited that. Oh, okay, cool. Mike's calling. I can't wait to answer that. And then the other part is you got to trust each other because we both have a part to play. And
absolutely, it takes a lot to get to the finish line in a real estate transaction.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of people working together, and it's important to have good partners.
Exactly. So I love that. We talked about community in the brokerage, right? For you guys, what does that look like for you and your business partners when you create community inside of your brokerage?
Well, another example is what happened this morning. We had a new agent orientation. We had about 10 or 12 agents that have just joined us, say, in the last, probably 30 to 45 days. And, we go over, policies, how to write a contract, some basic, things where the, copy machine is and things like that. But we also have we call it a agent success panel. So we had 4 of our experienced agents that come to the meeting, and, our trainer, kind of facilitates the conversation, but they talk about, we have them at different, we had one guy there that was, a 2-year experienced realtor, maybe another one about 10. And then we've got 2 other ones, 25 or 30 years. So different levels of experience. Wow. So they can relate to these brand new agents, and they tell about, how they work, offer their help. And, that talking about building the community within our brokerage, we try to bridge that gap between our experienced people and our new people, and help those new people along. And the more bringing in a new agent only helps the company, everybody. Keeps the listings here, more listings to sell, and it's good to collaborate within the company. So that's one thing we do.
That's awesome. For the people so say maybe the person that has 20 years or the person that has 10 or 2, is there a common system that's maybe over what everybody is doing? Is there a similar strategy that y'all are using that's in everybody's business?
Yeah, we implemented, or we brought in a philosophy or a training system called Ninja Selling about probably about 6 years ago now. It's called Ninja Selling, ninjaselling.com. I'll give the plug for them because they're great.
They're sponsored.
Our director of agent development, Brandon Odell, he's a great guy. And he moved down here, probably 6-7 years ago, and he was with a larger Coldwell Banker company up in Illinois, and they had been a ninja company, so to speak, and he kind of introduced it to us. But what ninja selling is, it's it's a system based on building long-term personal relationships with your customers and clients. And if you get to know your customers and clients on a personal level, not necessarily all business, but more personal about their work, their kids, what they like to do for fun, if they're a golfer, if they're a tennis player, if they like to go shopping or whatever, you connect with them on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see them at the grocery store, you ask them about their friends and family and work and recreation and what they're planning to do this summer, and you don't even really have to bring up real estate. Yeah. They know you're in real estate, and the business comes that way. So that's a big part of the ninja technique. And the other thing is they as far as dealing with the customers and clients too, once you do have a transaction that you're working on, you ask questions to that buyer or the seller and find out what their goals are, and then you listen. And I joke with some of our agents. Sometimes we as agents talk. I'm kind of doing that now, and sometimes we need to listen.
Yeah.
And listen to our customers and clients. And when you listen to your customers and clients, you can figure out we call it pain or pleasure. And you can figure out what the pain is, where you can help them.
Yeah.
And see what the pleasure is what they're looking for. And it's a great system. We did we call it it's a ninja installation about 6 or 7 years ago. And we had a big number of our agents participate. We did another one last year. So in 2022, about this time last year, we had another group go through, Brandon, our director of agent development, he does a weekly ninja skills training class where they do role playing, dialogue, and just review of the concepts of ninja. And it's worked really well. And,
wow.
and I really attribute some of our success the last 5 years to the ninja techniques. And, it's a great system. And, I would encourage, once again, I'm being a spokesperson for ninja, but it's a great system, and our agents have really embraced it. And a lot of our agents that are some of our top producers now have gone through the ninja training, and they're reaping the rewards. And the other big thing is about the relationship. It's also building your database.
Yeah.
And as you come into contact with people, you build your database, and you make be consistent in your communication with them. And a lot of the communication, it doesn't need to be all about, email.
Yeah.
Some of it needs to be pick up the phone and call them,
right,
and
on.
just check on them.
Right on.
And not saying, hey, do you want to sell your house, but how are the kids?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Or how's the family, and how's the the new mountain bike or something like that.
You had mentioned inside of ninja selling that it's kind of like an 8 week. Is it like an 8 week step by step? Just kind of like this week, do this, the next. Like it's a planned out relationship development.
It's really more of a daily thing, a weekly thing. They tell you to talk. The Ninja 9. One of them is talk to 10 people per day. Communicate with 10 people per day, 50 a week.
Great.
And it's a process. It's and the one thing is that it helps you build your business plan, your goal setting, and you set your goals. You set, time block for prospecting.
Yes.
Of where you're reaching out to people.
Yes.
And you stay in contact with them, whether it's first thing in the morning. A lot of, one thing it talks about is that, work on prospecting in the morning and do some of your, showing property, previewing properties and things like that in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's a great system, and it, they use a little initials, TSW, the system works. And it really does. And we've got some, prime examples of, some of our most successful agents that are using it.
Yeah.
And it's been great. It's been great for us.
Is that 10 talk tos or 10 calls? What would that be? Is it to get to 10 talk tos in the day, or is it 10 phone calls, like 10 numbers? What one is it?
No, it'd be talking to 10 people.
Okay, great. So that means you're calling probably 40. You're probably calling 40 to 50 to get them on the phone, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
You could walk across the street and talk to your neighbor.
Yeah. Well, and even it might be. I tell some new agents also. You can talk to 2 or 3 people if you go get coffee in the morning somewhere.
Right. Right.
If you're in the coffee shop talking to people, you can talk to 2 to 3 people just right in the coffee line. Or if you go to a football game on Friday night, we like football down here in the South. Y'all like football?
Heck yeah, we do.
Too.
We're in Texas. That's right.
Yeah, you go Friday night football, you can talk to 20 people.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, it's consistently staying in touch, and it's building your database. Talk to people that already know you, or that you've done business with in the past. And, once you get that database built, you just keep consistently communicating with those people. It's, it's not rocket science by any means, but you have to do it consistently.
And it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money.
That's the key.
Right. I mean, it's just your time, right? So it's like, okay, block the time.
It's your time, and then those personal referrals will feed you business.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what we see with a lot of new agents is they don't understand where to start. And I think that also just then they don't have a plan. It's like, wow, people.
Yeah.
You got to call them, right? You have to talk to them, meet them, get to know them better than what you know them now, right? So you need to be a little bit more friendly, just because you got to be inquisitive enough to advance that relationship, maybe beyond just acquaintance and maybe a little bit deeper, so that they refer you and they think about you.
And sometimes it takes a little time too.
Oh yeah.
You got to consistently talk to people over time to get them comfortable with you. And, people are, they're going to buy something from somebody they know, like, and trust. And, that's the key.
Yeah. That's it.
It seems simple.
It sure does. We say that a lot. Know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
We was like, hey, do you know an insurance agent like, and trust, or anybody we want to refer on? Because I know somebody. Well, do you know, like, and trust them? Because if you don't, then you need to find somebody that you can know, like, and trust.
That's right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
And as agents or lenders, we want you to like us, but we want to know you, and when we know you, you can trust us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Mike,
build our business.
As we're wrapping up, the podcast today. I remember when we talked, you talked about being agent centric brokerage rather than a broker centric brokerage or company. We'd love to hear, some, like, a nugget of wisdom for someone that's really looking to maybe go in a different direction this year. Maybe they've been in a rut, or they've just been kind of lost. What's a nugget of wisdom that you would give to them to just get them going, get a spark and kind
of get them going
where they're going?
I guess the biggest thing would be, you just got to show up and go to work. And that seems, I guess that's kind of cliche and kind of simple, but you got to show up and go to work. And, any available training opportunities, whether it's podcasts, videos, watch them and attend some meetings. We got away from, in-person meetings, like industry events and things like that. I think that's a great way to get you motivated, whether it's a state association or a franchise, affiliated convention, anything like that kind of gets you motivated. This might be old school, but, join the Chamber of Commerce or join a civic club. That gets you in front of people right off the bat.
Yeah.
I've been a member of Rotary International for 20 years. And I don't know how much I've had, countless business dealings with members of Rotary. I think that's the biggest thing. Show up and, participate and get involved more than anything, whether it's community or training or anything like that. Just get involved and get going.
Mm-hmm. I love it. We'll quote that. Show up and up and go to work.
Right.
That's right.
I want to say, and one other thing, it was TSW. So what was?
Works.
Yeah, the system works. Yeah.
The system works.
You guys gotta get the TSW shirts.
Yeah.
For the agents.
That's right. We need to. Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks so much for coming. We had a pleasure just getting to know you and your story and all the wisdom that you've got to share with our listeners. We always kind of leave this with, if you'd like to know more about Mike Maret, either reach out to us or look him up if you're in his area, just to learn more about him and his
come by
team.
and visit with us.
Yeah, come on. I love it.
All right. Hey, guys. Hey, I appreciate the opportunity. It's been fun.
Yeah,
and
you,
if I can ever do anything to help y'all, let me know.
You got it, friend. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Heart of Real Estate podcast. If you found this episode thought-provoking and helpful, do us a favor and share it with 2 of your friends. Also, feel free to leave any comments or reviews. And if you want to learn more about the Mortgage Mike Group, reach out. We'd love to connect.